I'm creating this channel because I want to create a queer space for spiritual people. All too often, I am noticing a lot of spiritual channels somehow tend to dip into like weird conservative land. It often comes in the topic of men versus women, aka masculine energy versus feminine energy when it comes to spirituality. When it comes to spirituality, masculine and feminine isn't gender, it's energy. Creation itself is feminine. So if you're an artist, that's feminine energy. From my understanding, masculine energy is more action oriented, a little bit more structured. It's kind of like left brain versus right brain. Left brain is masculine. It's more, well, I don't know if left brain is masculine, but the left brain is more logic based. The masculine energy is more logic based. The right side of the brain is more creative. So it's creation itself, and creation comes in many forms. It's not just making babies. It's being artistic. It's drawing, writing, acting, creating, imagining, dreaming. Yeah, I guess masculine energy builds the house structurally, manually, but the feminine energy decorates it. It has nothing to do with if you're a man or a woman. If you have strict guidelines on what you think it is to be a man or a woman, it just goes to show how narrow-minded you still are. You forget that there is an infinite amount of ways in which the spirit can and may choose to express itself. Imagine pinning all that is creation, source. There are people who believe that one soul can fragment into many different physical vessels. But either way, when you trace it all up, it leads to one giant source, that which is everything. And apparently in the Bhagavad Gita, when God reveals itself, it is beautiful and horrendous because it is everything. Imagine dividing that. I haven't read the Bhagavad Gita, so I can't really speak on that. That's what I heard, which sounds really fucking cool. But imagine just dividing that now into you are a woman or a man. And if you are a woman, you have a womb, you have the babies, you're weak, and you're the man, you're the papa, and you're it's very rigid, and I don't think that you can be creative and be rigid at the same time. So if you want to wield your magic and create reality, you can't be rigid. Rigidness is what causes resistance. And if you resist, if you insist, you're resisting, or, vice versa, whatever. There are divine feminine souls that start out not in a female body, and there are divine masculine souls that start out in a not a male body. Maybe it's done that way on purpose to reaffirm that the divine energy is from within. It's always within you. And, as within, so without. So eventually it will be expressed outwardly if you allow that for yourself. When you're trans, you get to almost live two lives in a very quick period, depending on when you transition. You get to have two lives. You see things from both perspectives. And don't forget, when you're trans, you're not just trans. You're a vegan. You're extremely religious. Maybe then you became a very staunch atheist. And then maybe from there, you slid into neutral agnostic. And here we are now, in the middle of the greatest transformation yet. a woo-woo nature witch that throws logic out the window in favor of miracles and magic. Isn't that what creation wants to experience? As many things as it can? A lot of channels out there, they talk about putting yourself in a box, going with labels, being brainwashed by society, and yet they still create boxes. They they think certain foods are better than others. They think, I mean, it's all about what's up here. It's all about what you create. You can create whatever rules you want. You can drink your iced coffees out of plastic cups for the rest of your life. If you think that you won't be affected, wasn't there a study with bunnies? The bunnies that were fed poison, that weren't given any love or patted or talked to in a nice way, succumbed to the poison. And then the bunnies that were given love and given scritches and, I don't know, loving words, kindness. I don't really know exactly the details. You'll have to look this up and prove me wrong later. But everything, it turned to nectar. I mean, if it was a rule and a law that everyone who smoked cigarettes was going to get lung cancer and die, then everybody who smoked cigarettes would. And that just isn't the case, because I think it's all about what you believe. So what am I saying right now exactly? Where am I looking? I don't know. At the end of the day, there are going to be great resources out there for you. I call it spiritual tech support. That's what some of these people on Instagram, some of these people on YouTube have been for me, at a time where I just feel like my mind was blown open and I needed to hear someone who could put my thoughts in a succinct manner. And a lot of channels out there have been really, really helpful. But there really becomes a point in this journey where the training wheels have to come off. And even the people who you've looked up to are going to prove to be just a stepping stone to greater knowledge. Because eventually you're not going to need them anymore. And I part ways with love with that channel. I don't judge them, because I know that it's all just me anyway. And it's my own way of saying, you don't need to watch this person anymore. This person has no more information for you. And you can do the same thing here too. You don't have to go out with a fight. You don't have to have the last word. It doesn't really do anything for anyone. If we're not willing to compromise our beliefs on something, why engage? You want to engage with material to learn something and have your thoughts confirmed or beliefs challenged, great. But also you have the ability to shut them away as well and say, all right, this no longer aligns. I am done. You just keep on driving and you don't look back. Nope. Blinkers on, make a left. The fuck out of there.